This is Kashe and Caleb. They were created by a kid named Kashe Davidson Studios on November 10th, 2021. Their goals was to make YouTube videos and subscribers for Kashe Davidson Studios. And yes, this was kind of cheating, but no one really knew about it. It is time for the YouTube Wars. Kashe just got attacked by Jeff Michael and wanted to challenge him to the YouTube Wars who can get the most subscribers. If Jeff wins, he takes over whole Kashe's channel. If Kashe wins, just leave me alone, man. Jeff Michael agreed, and the YouTube Wars has begun on November 14th, 2021. Kashe and Caleb saw this, and they didn't really care because they were stuck on a computer because there are two AI programs, and no one really knew about them. So, yeah, moving on. On November 18th, 2021, Kashe Davidson defeated Jeff Michael and gained around 4,000 subscribers. So, what did he do next? Destroy the KDS brothers. Kashe wanted to get rid of the KDS brothers because he saw that the channel was weak and they only had around 30 subscribers and not only a lot of videos, around 2 videos. So how did the deleting process went? It went like this. Kashe and Caleb got a surprise attack that their whole channel was getting deleted. They did not know where to go, so they ran to the exit of the folder. They ran very, very quickly until they reached the folder and escaped their old folder and landed to an empty folder. They were now noticing that Kashe deleted their channel and they were depressed. So, what happens next? Caleb's mad. He's enraged. He lost his channel and he was betrayed. He doesn't know what to do and he wants to do something bad. But he doesn't have the skills to do anything because he's stuck inside a folder. Kashe, on the other hand, was a crybaby and didn't know what to do, so he just gave up. Caleb wasn't going to give up. He wanted to do something to get his revenge. So, that is when he found something inside the folder. He found blueprints to what? To make something powerful for his escape out of the folder. So, he created a remote and called it the Death Remote. And he was going to tell the news to Kashe. However, this will take a dark turn to their next path. Kashe refuses to help Caleb on his quest to kill Kashe and take over his channel so he can be happy again. Caleb was mad, but he already had a backup plan. If Kashe wasn't going to join Caleb, he was going to be possessed by Caleb, his own brother, and they will be called Kashe and Caleb. So now Kashe will be taking the blame for not joining Caleb's side. It's December 13, 2021, and Kashe is relaxing until he got a surprise attack on his computer. This war never really had a name, so we call it the Man Wars. Including the man because Kashe was being a man in this movie and being brave to stop his own villain. Just to let you guys know. Anyways, Kashe puts him in Kashe's world, and Kashe is very confused and notices that he's stuck in his world. So now Kashe is gonna torture him while he is changing his channel name. So, what happens next? Kashe created a monkey called George and told him to watch the screen and make sure he doesn't escape. 2 minutes later, he comes back, he escaped. Bruh! And he kills George. Boom. Hooray! A few seconds later, Kashe pushed a random button on the Death Remote, which turned him into a giant monster calling himself Chroma Destroyer. Hooray! Kashe then uses all the power on the Death Remote to kill Chroma Destroyer. No! The Man Wars was finally over. So, what happens after that? 1.5 years later, Kashe is being attacked by another villain that came from space, and he's destroying planet Earth, including his house and everything. That's when Kashe and Tim Dent had an idea to bring Kashe back to life, which was actually kind of a bad idea, but also at the same time, it did help destroy Zetar. Anyways, Kashe dies because they used all the power inside Chroma Destroyer to kill Zetar, and Kashe finally died. So what happened after that? You did see in this scene where Tim Dent collapsed because Kashe died. I forgot to mention this, by the way. When they brought Kashe back to life, he only had 50% inside of him. The other half was stuck on the computer. There was something to save Kashe's life, so then they can form Chroma Destroyer before it's too late. So he had to take over Tim Dance's body, so it would be called Tim Dance / Kashe. Also, inside of Kashe, it's Caleb possessing Kashe's body. So it would be more, but I'm just going to stick with Kashe for now. We don't need to worry about that. That's why in this scene, it shows that their souls were getting out of Tim's body, but you didn't really see it. In fact, Kashe and Caleb's souls split. So now Kashe went to heaven, but Caleb wasn't going to give up. His soul went inside Kashe. A few months later, Kashe defeated Genesis, aka Seth, that tried to destroy his house and everything. Meanwhile, Kaleb was inside Kashe, and he really couldn't do anything. He tried to get into the brain, but failed multiple times. All he can do now is just watch Kashe suffering from all the villains he is fighting throughout the years, until he finally noticed that Kashe decided to bury the USB full of power and everything. So that's when Kaleb had an idea. That's when Kaleb had the idea to free himself from Kashe Davidson's body. However, it will take around 6 or 7 months before he will be free, so he's kind of stuck in there for a while. So, what does he do? Kaleb makes his way to the brain and finally gets inside the brain, which is now he does the paranormal dreams on Kashe, and now Kashe finally notices that Kashe isn't dead. He is alive inside of his own body. Also, he still believes Kashe is the bad guy. What a dummy, am I right? Wait, that's me. Oh. I am a dummy. Anyways, moving on, Kashe gets attacked, but then Kaleb saves him, pretending to be Kashe, which Kashe still believes him. Then Kaleb had an idea. He wants to torture Kashe because he is tired of saving him from villains. So he had an idea. He broke into the brain, he did some computer stuff, blah, 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 whatever, and he decided to put him into Five Nights at Freddy's. Kaleb also made a backup version called the Haunted Mansion, just in case if he escapes to Five Nights at Freddy's, he'll get scared by one of his best creations, aka daughter, Alice Wavidson. Anyways, Kashe beats all the Five Nights at Freddy's, and he was about to put him in the 5th one, but then ran out of power for the brain. Kaleb really wanted to put Kashe in the simulation of Five Nights at Freddy's 5, but had no power, so he had no choice but to use Seth's power on the brain. This war will take a dark turn of Kaleb's next path to his final entry. This war is one of the destructions, one of the dangerous, and also one of the forgotten wars ever. Eternal nightmares. So, this is how it began. Kashe Davidson was in the game of Five Nights at Freddy's 5. However, the game was glitching for some unknown reason. Kaleb then realizes that Seth was alive this whole time inside the USB, and now Seth is controlling the brain. Kaleb didn't know what to do. He had no other option but to help Kashe. But before he helped Kashe, he had to get into his disguise before he notices the truth. So, yeah, he still wants this war to keep on going. Anyways, they were caught, and then Seth decided to bring Genesis out of Kashe's brain so then he can finally get his revenge on Kashe and Joey Gibb, but had no power. So, he put him into the Haunted Mansions, one of Kaleb's best creations ever. So, Kaleb had an idea. He was going to go find his daughter, while Kashe was going to go find Sarah. Also, who's Sarah? I don't know. Don't ask. However, it backfires and Seth controls Alice, and then Alice was going to chase him down, but then a very, very sad emotional talk with Kaleb and Alice. Also, by the way, Kaleb is Kashe. Forgot to mention, by the way.
Alice? Alice?
Free. Kashe. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I thought you would never make it out. I guess emotions were the power after all. Look, I'm sorry if I wasn't there for you or anything. I was more focused on these stupid CDS games.
Hey, I heard that.
Be quiet, Kashe. This is a very emotional thing right now. Anyways, I just want to say, I'm sorry. That's it. Do you forgive me?
Of course I do. I forgive you.
Anyways, Seth kills her. Bruh. After seeing that horrible death, Kaleb's mad and he's turning into his real form. Kaleb takes over Kashe, then they form Common Destroyer and fight Genesis, and then after that Kashe fights Seth, and then Kaleb finally destroys Genesis. Oh my god! Guys, I really did not plan that far ahead. That was not supposed to happen. This is an anime. This is history. What are we doing? Well, what was supposed to happen was Seth told Kashe's plan to Kashe. Now, Kashe knows Kashe's plan, so he locked him away forever. But then there was an expired thing on him. Cutting into November, Kashe meets all of his friends in LA. They start partying, jamming out, and yes, you're right. It's here. Calvation's War has arrived. Kaleb escaped the USB. He finally got out of Kashe's body, but then he decided to possess Dylan's body. And this is one of the biggest wars. Just kidding, no. This is one of the biggest wars ever. Kaleb is now in Dylan, and now he has a plan to bring back his revolution, aka Calvation. That's why it's called Calvations. So, what he does is he tied everybody up, and then he was about to bring back the death remote. Or just he's gonna charge the death remote. That's what he's doing. Anyways, Dylan wakes up inside his mind, and Kaleb sends a decoy of himself inside Dylan's brain. And he calls himself Kaleb. Yes, of course, Kaleb. Duh, what are you talking about? Anyways, he tricks Dylan that he's the good guy and Kashe is the bad guy. So Dylan believes him and they go stop Kashe. However, they got attacked. Then they reach the mine. Meanwhile, outside of Dylan's head, other Kaleb 1 finally charged the death remote. Meanwhile, up in heaven, Kashe is having a great time, and there he goes. Oh, look at that. Now Kaleb put Kashe's soul into Mike's body. Isn't that great? Now Kashe is alive inside Mike's body. Wow. Anyways, Kaleb 2 inside the brain traps Dylan and tells the secret all along that Kashe is actually the real bad guy. Outside of the mind, Kaleb 1 inside of Dylan's body told the news to Cash, Nick, and also Mike that's also being possessed by Kashe. And Kashe really didn't really care. He was just enjoying his time in heaven. Anyways, Dylan escapes Kaleb's wrath, and then after that, there's going to be a huge fight scene. But I really can't show you it all, so here. Although by far this is the coolest part of the film, and also this one.
Huh? Game over.
Yep, you all knew it. Kashe dies. After so many years, 2 years actually, Kaleb finally killed Kashe. And then he was going to kill Dylan, but then something horrible happens. Mike's free from Hypno-Kashe, but he's still possessed by Kashe. And then he sacrifices himself to save Dylan. And Kaleb was sad until Kashe finally told the truth to Kaleb all these years.
Why would you do this?
Just drop it. I never really wanted to be a YouTuber.
You never wanted to be a YouTuber, so I've been doing this for nothing?
To be honest, guys, big L, but also be honest as well. This is very sad because he's been doing this all for 2 years for nothing. And now Kaleb didn't know what to do. He was scared. He didn't know what to do. Then Kashe told him to save Kashe Davidson and let him rest in peace. So that's what Kaleb did, and Kashe lives forever. And that was the end of the movie. And y'all been wondering where Kaleb was this whole time? He is living himself as a human in the human world because he is no longer a villain. He is human because we are you.